Our next oration this evening bears the title, Snack, Don't Plaque, an argument against trophy hunting. Please welcome Stephen Miller.
On a beautiful day with sunshine and mild temperatures, you were on the prowl to kill the largest elk that has been reported in a nearby forest, and use that success you desire to prove something to those who have mocked you for having no impressive feats. The search was long and tedious, but eventually you managed to find that elk with its robustly structured body and giant antlers that extend to the back of its neck. And so, you quickly prepare to kill it. Once the moment arises, you pull the trigger to fire a lightning-fast bullet right into the elk's heart, killing it almost instantly. You then place the carcass on a wooden plaque to indulge in the glory of taking down such a large creature, which is not an achievement everyone can reach. But is any of the glory you've just received worth the blood that's been spilled? What does this feeling of pride and pleasure say about how you interact with the organic creations God brought to our world? Many Christians are under the idea that trophy hunting is acceptable because humans occupy the highest position on God's hierarchy of living beings thanks to their qualities of sentience and being created in His image. However, I argue that the practice is unethical because even with the lack of sentience in non-human animals, killing them for the sake of boasting about and taking pleasure in an unnatural death is not the nature that God intended humans to follow as members of creation. As you may already know, humans are the only animals that possess true sentience and therefore are able to express their emotions and feelings to a very complex degree. But this does not mean non-human animals are unable to have a high capacity of these sensations as well. The animals commonly targeted by hunters are, in fact, the kinds that display signs of these feelings to an extent that makes them worth considering in the realm of ethics. The two feelings in question are fear and pain, as this is what an animal feels whenever they are faced with harm or danger, so that they could recognize a potential hazard and then try to avoid it. This is something that occurs regularly with wild and domesticated animals alike, as one could tell when a lion pride catches a zebra for food, or when a mother horse kicks away an intruding wolf to protect her defenseless foals. What these scenarios show about the relationship between the animal kingdom and the enduring of fear, pain, and death is that regardless of where each animal's intelligence places them on the hierarchy of creation, they all share the aspect of killing whenever the action may benefit them in the long run. To name a few of these benefits, an animal may kill another to gather food for itself, out of self-defense when attacked, or to protect their offspring from predators that try to pick off of them. As for humans, their sentience means that whenever they are responsible for the death of another creature, it will likely be for a reason outside of survival or the gathering of resources, such as capturing territories in a war, executing a murder to bring justice, or, in the case of trophy hunters, to obtain an animal's body part as, well, a trophy. And although free will and sentience enables a human to kill out of desire rather than obligation or instinct, it remains a fact that God intended humans to be part of the animal kingdom. And thus, as humans ourselves, it is our responsibility to stay consistent with the nature He intended not just for humans, but for animals as a whole, while maintaining our identity as sentient bearers of His image. So for all the reasons a non-human animal may have to cause fear and pain, they would never do so for the sake of deriving pleasure, nor would they ever be proud of the bloodshed they are responsible for. No matter how vicious of a predator an animal may be, they will kill only when they have to or think that they have to. As such, so too should humans kill only when necessary or to gain a significant long-term benefit, while utilizing their superior intelligence to make a better judgment than other animals would as to whether or not a killing is obligatory. The nature of a wild animal is that they do not simply display the prey they have caught, and will actually use the carcass to feed themselves or other individuals within their own species. So, by steering clear of trophy hunting, a human will actually use a deceased animal as means of sustenance, rather than rendering its pain and fear as a needless event that amounts to nothing more than a waste of valuable and natural resources. So as you think about the use of an animal's carcass for necessities and not ornaments, you may be under the assumption that as long as a portion of an animal is used for sustenance, another can be used as a trophy without any concern over resources being wasted. This rationale ultimately does not serve as a justification to trophy hunting, because the impact it has on the hunter's self-image and relationship with God remains in place. And it is a negative one that cannot be improved by hunting for resources alongside trophies. Even if a deceased animal is used for genuine necessities, to also craft it into a trophy is an indication of pride and pleasure still being motives behind the slaughter. And in consequence, the hunter appears to be a barbarous person who is willing to cause needless suffering towards innocent life forms for the fun of it, or to gather accomplishments to boast about. And when it comes to Christian virtue, actively subjecting one of God's most significant creations to misery as they are destroyed so that what's left of them could be gathered as prestige is a scenario in which one fails to avoid the deadly sins of pride and avarice. As a result, nothing but disrespect and dishonor is seen in the eyes of God as he watches the animals he created be denied mercy when there is no need to make sacrifices, and the satisfaction being derived from the killings themselves, rather than the food or other essential resources an animal may provide when the circumstances call for it. The death of certain animals for others to survive is an unfortunate but inevitable part of nature. So I encourage everyone to ensure that any harm that is inflicted on a wild animal is not for anything that isn't worth it in the long run. I also encourage everyone to think about how animal crafted items can be utilized in a manner that is useful and productive, while still showing respect to the animals used to produce these items as one of God's many wonderful and significant creations. Thank you.